Hola, hola, it's your girl Erica from America. Welcome to the Confidence Chronicles podcast. This podcast is all about helping you stand in who you are. Stop giving a fuck what people think about you. Start standing as your fully expressed self. As you are, as is, there is no filter needed. You are fucking awesome, and I am here to remind you. I'm a confidence coach, and I'm a bold stand for confidence, and I cannot wait to dig into today's episode with you. Hello, gorgeous. Welcome back to the show, or welcome if it is your first time. You are in for a treat because today I have the beautiful Emma Issacs joining us on the podcast. Emma is a dear friend, soul sister, mama of 6, global CEO, boss of Business Chicks, and 2 times best-selling author. Her new book, The New Hustle, has just come out. You better go get that book. All the details are in the show notes. I just love Emma. I've been in her world. I've been a member of Business Chicks for a very long time. She is an expander to me, somebody that I look to, I look up to. She just makes shit happen. She got 6 kids. She is incredible. Mentor, leader, mother, wife, friend, boss, humble as hell, and hilarious. I know you're going to love this episode. And what I want you to do is I want you to tag me. I want you to tag Emma, Business Chicks, and let us know how you enjoyed this episode. Let me know if you got the book, The New Hustle. It has come out. It is incredible. Without further ado, here is Emma Issacs. Emma Issacs, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, girl. Hey, it's great to be here.
Gosh, finally, my face hurts. We literally just started, and I'm already smiling too much.
It feels like my wedding day. You know when you smile the whole time and your jaw's really hard.
So we were just saying that we were meant to do this in person. We were going to be in Sydney and having a nice little party to celebrate your 8th baby. This beautiful new book of yours, The New Hustle. Oh my gosh, congratulations, sis.
Thanks,
this
my
is
love.
Amazing. I just want to acknowledge you because I have to do this before we start. I've played this in my head so many times to tell you that you have been one of the biggest expanders for me. Don't cry. For so long. I think I've been in your world for a lot of years. I've been in this the Business Chicks community. Feels like big sister community. Yeah, for many years. You've got thousands of women from around the world in this beautiful world, this beautiful tribe. And you're just raw, real, hilarious, and the epitome of being able to take care of business and mother. And I just want to say thank you because whenever I think I can't do that, or can we have another baby, or shit, can I do that big scary thing? I'm like, Emma Issacs, literally you pop into my head, and I'm sure many women's heads. So thank you for being that person for us because you really show what's possible.
It's really beautiful of you to say, and it's an absolute honor if I played any of what you just said. That's a really beautiful thing. And man, it's in reverse, it's a mirror. You guys, and you in particular, have inspired me for many, many years. And I remember so many of our conversations at Business Chicks events 10 years ago. And
I know.
You going through your birth stuff and me going through mine. And it's wonderful to see you flourish and to grow and transform and to expand. And, all power to you.
Love you. Thank you. And I'm not going to lie, everybody who watched you home birth for the baby number 6, Mr. Louis, all had chats in the kitchen with their partners are we done? So hold on. So are we actually done, or is this going to happen again? My husband's looking at me it was midnight. And I'm I don't know if we're done. Maybe there's another baby. And he's like, what the hell is going on?
Watching.
So thank you for that. Okay. So why this book and why now?
All the big questions. That's helpful. Listen, I think I'm someone that has been a little bit stuck in an old way of doing things. I had my first company when I was 18. I've been treading this path of entrepreneurship and small business for a long time now. And you know, I was very, very lucky to get an early start and to grow my first business, which was a recruitment company for 7 years. And we did really well in that business before I bought Business Chicks. And I've been building and scaling that company for 15 years. And what it's taken to get me to this point and our team to get to this point is obviously a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, which you're not immune to either. No one is. But, I think the past 18 months have really been a huge recalibration for a lot of us. And I think when you take out the distractions of our lives and what we were busying ourselves with when we were allowed to travel and we were allowed to event and we were allowed to do all the things that we're allowed to, what I'm saying, excuse me, is when you take away those distractions and you sit in the stillness of what your life is, and you sit in the stillness of who you want to be as a person and as a leader, and when you sit in the stillness of what's possible, all of these different ideas and ideals and ways start to emerge. And that definitely happened for me with the pandemic. When the world started closing down and closing in on us, a huge part of our livelihood was swept away. I mean, at Business Chicks, we pre-pandemic we're doing about 110 live events.
Crazy.
And we, that was all taken away, and we had to sit there and think, okay, cool, who are we now, and who are we, and who do we want to be if we can't be the place that brings people together and gives hugs and high fives and supports women, right? So a lot of soul searching there, but really the easiest way to answer your question is, the way that I used to work and the way that we used to work is now dead. And I really feel this is a huge opportunity for us all to reimagine what's possible for our careers and our businesses and ourselves. So the new hustle is really my attempt at having people sit a little bit straighter and look a little bit deeper into what's important and what matters, and to be able to find the courage from within to make those big decisions that, perhaps they were scared to make before. So I think it's going to fall at the right time. I think it's going to be very valuable for people. I hope that it can. And, Erica, it's funny, like you started in that beautiful place thanking me, and that's wonderful. And, that means more to me than impacting tens of millions of people or tens of thousands of people. Like if I can see one person and help one person in one person's journey, then that's an extraordinary feat or achievement. So I can only hope it impacts, that one person or many.
It does, woman. It does. And I love how the book starts, and something slapped me in the face. It was like, relax. And I'm like, anyway, I don't have to read that chapter. I'm going to go to the own chapter. I'm going to own this. Like, no, you need to read the chapter of relax. And that chapter has been demolished because it was like you were talking to me because I'm like, yeah.
It's the hardest lesson to learn, right? And I'm only just wrapping my head around the fact that rest can be work now, right?
Like, oh my God, it is.
Needs to be and can be restorative, and that allows us to move to the next level once the rest is complete. And I'm really trying to find more space and time for that, and it's been a really pleasant surprise. And that forms part of my new hustle. It's like how can I step into my magnificence with doing less and not pushing as much and not forcing anything. And I just love that. It feels really free, and it feels like I'm stepping into a whole other level of power, and it's a really fun space. I love it.
Yeah. And you're meditating, I heard.
Yay.
Yes.
I'm meditating every single day. It's beautiful. And again, it just forms this practice of trying to slow down and I feel like I've always been pretty intentional, but this is a new level of intention and really wanting to sit back and design and create. And I don't know where that came from, but I just think, again, the world was given a huge shake-up. The world was given a huge dose of perspective. And, we are at a crossroads. We can do two things. We can ignore it and carry on the way we were always carrying on, or we can stop and go, no, you know what? I'm about to find the guts to discard the things that didn't serve me. And I've got to have those tough conversations to get rid of the stuff that was holding me back. And I can craft a new way of being. So that's what it's all about, sister.
Yes. And I love in the beginning you say the quote is, often it takes a crisis for us to wake up. Oh, wait, I'm going to do one of these. Because that's exactly, seriously, that is exactly how it feels right now. Like we are, as you know, here in Australia, we're home on our couches with our kids. And there's so much that, with us with 2 kids and 3 businesses have been doing this rush, we've been hustling. We're not doing the new hustle. We were just doing the old hustle. Right. And there was so much stress and like rushing around. And I think that this time has really made all of us go within and look at, hey, like, what can I remove? And I love the anti-rules that you have, and we're going to go through them. But like, what do you feel that you've seen not only in your company, but maybe in your own life? I know you're in the States now, but that this pandemic has helped you go, we're doing that, and that's crazy and busy and hustle. And now we're doing this, especially with kids and work and business.
So many things. It's a great question. I mean, I think the constant on the run feeling that all of us have is really part of a deeper problem, that we're running away from something, right? So I think my personal experience of the pandemic, and I can sort of speak a little bit in past tense, and please God, that's the way it remains, because
Yes.
you know, whilst our schools were closed for 13 months and we're in all sorts of lockdowns for a long, long, long time. I mean, it hasn't been stop-start like Australia has been, and my heart breaks for all of my friends and team members there at the moment. So really this, you know, again, we talked about before, like the distractions we used in our life to take up time and to run away from what was really important, what really mattered, and what was, you know, perhaps the wound or the problem that we were avoiding, right? So that's been my experience of the pandemic. Just you can't run when you're tied to your sofa and told you can't leave your house. There's nowhere to run, right? So you're suddenly looking down the barrel of your relationships with your family and you know, your children, and you're like, whoa, okay, and all this stuff has to be seen and looked at. So that's been really big. I think in the business sort of capacity, it's been a real, and I read about this in the book, a real return to my entrepreneurial roots, right? And what I mean when I say that is, you know, I am vibing, I am in my jam. I just love being able to be a scrappy entrepreneur that makes things up and creates and sees opportunity in this moment, and then flies with certain things, and it might go against convention, it might go against, you know, the general wisdom, but I love that feeling of being, you know, just able to create on the fly. So when your business gets to a certain point and you start to have many people around you and structures and systems, and I don't want to say bureaucracy, but, you know, there are layers of people and management, what you find is things slow down considerably. So, you know, before you were able to make decisions very, very quickly, now you have to go through a few layers, and you have to consult, and you have to, you know, have meetings to get those decisions made. And this is not the way I like to turn to you and go, hey, Erica, what do you think about this? And you go, yeah, I love it. And we go.
It's already done.
Done. Like I've moved on to the next thing, right?
Yeah.
So certainly I was feeling that a little bit more just pre-pandemic, you know, when things were a little bit slower. So for me, you know, being able to work in that time was very much like everyone put tools down and let's just get into what we have to do here and now. And that means, you know, like we had our content team saying, okay, so we're going to talk about the schedule for the next 6 months. I'm like, guys, we don't know what the schedule's like for the next week. Like, you got to throw all that away. Like, anything that you have been learning, you need to unlearn. You need to relearn this stuff, because there is no scheduling, right? So for me, this was thrilling and exhilarating to get back to, you know, doing things on the fly and creating in the moment. But for a lot of people, they found that very, very hard. So yeah, I think we're a lot more nimble and kind of agile, and I enjoyed that part of it. I really did.
I love that. That's why I love you, because I'm just, when I listen to you, I'm like, oh my God, yes, I feel that. Like, let's go. My husband's always like, stop telling Instagram what you're going to do. You haven't even told anyone here. Like, what, we're doing a retreat when? Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, yeah, we already sold like 4 spots. And he's like, oh my God. So like, for those of you in business listening, and you're like, let's do the things, you know, it is good to relax and slow down and think about what you're doing and figure out and communicate better. And I think in 2020, we can all say we burn the hell out. Like, I got a fatty liver, Emma. Ooh, it was bad. Like, I was like, I'm going to serve the world and give my life to the world and just be of service. And then we're also pivoting and shifting and changing. And it's like, you can't hustle. Like, it's actually bad for your health. Like,
absolutely.
You cannot keep doing that.
I know, it's too much.
It's hectic. I love that. So you guys we love your events. I remember being at 9 to Thrive in 2018. You were pregnant with Louie, and I got to meet you for the first time in the real life. And you were like, Erica, and I was like, oh, she's the best. She like remembers my stalker messages about home birthing. Because I home birthed because of you. I honestly did. Rowan shared this video of you swaying, and I was like, oh my God, that's a great idea. And it was that sway that I needed to do to get my little dude coming out. And it was like a V-back prior to. So I was just you've been such a big part. Like, you've been weaved into many parts of my life. So it was really beautiful, because I got to see you and we got to be there and we got to experience everything. And then the book and everything came out. And then I think it was right after that, it was like live event. It was at the Melbourne Expo Center, which is a massive place that then turned into a hospital. But you guys did so many live events and the shifting and changing and kind of the word that's been used so much, the pivoting. Yeah. Do you feel like that was coming? Like, you guys were already kind of, I know you said in the book, you're like, we're already preparing to shift and change things because things were getting complacent and pre-COVID.
Yeah, I mean, definitely parts of it. I mean, we always knew we had to sort of master the digital event space, right? We never kind of knew how to, and perhaps we weren't as passionate about it, so we didn't really, give as much effort or intention as we should have. So when the pandemic happened and we knew we couldn't meet in person, our hand was sort of forced to move into innovation really, really quickly, right? And I remember a similar story when you're talking about on Instagram selling 4 retreat spots to a retreat that doesn't exist. I got the team on the on Zoom very early on, and I said, okay, we need to do a digital event. We need to do it right now because we need to be the first mover, and we need to show that we're going to lead the way on this. So just let's go. And I looked at them all and I said, does anyone know how to do a digital event? I like 7 people on events team, and they were all just like,
Googles.
Google, exactly. Pick the phone. Just go to the bathroom. What the
I got it.
Yeah. And I mean, the reality was like none of us knew how to do that. And so they said, okay, yeah, this is what we're going to do. Like, we're going to need about 2 weeks to get the tech sorted and to get it all organized. And I'm like, 2 weeks? We don't have 2 weeks. No, I said, that's not what we're going to do. I'm going to pull in some favors. I'm going to make some calls right now. We're going to get a speaker line up, and we're going to put that up by tomorrow. Then you guys in the background are going to be figuring out the tech and how to do that, right? And it might take us 2 weeks. By that time, we'll have sold 4,000 tickets, and we would have got to a space where we can press go live, right? So I think that sort of, again, scrappiness of, you can never have everything lined up and ready. You can never have all your ducks, beautifully lined up on your shelf and ready to go. You've really got to kind of press the trigger or pull the trigger before you're ready. So that was definitely, that's how our pandemic experience started, and it kind of carried on that way. I mean, look, to be really honest, we are, in a period now, I think everyone's experiencing this. We've all got Zoom fatigue. We're all just hanging to get back to life and the freedom that we once enjoyed. So I'd be lying if I said that our team weren't feeling that, and just very disappointed and very frustrated with the constant stop-start. But that's certainly not unique to us. Everyone in Australia is feeling that right now. So
yeah, I will say I feel very blessed that I got to go to Movers and Breakers, and you were there in your digital space. It was so damn good. I was just like, I felt like a kid, because you give and you serve and you host events and you speak and you facilitate. And I was just there like, I'm just going to receive, and I'm going to be a student. And like anybody listening, if you have the opportunity to go to Movers and Breakers, ever get your ass a ticket, because they sell out in like 4 hours, by the way. High five. Good job, team. It was amazing. Like, it was so amazing. And I got to meet your incredible team, and they're so like amazing and flexible, and like, let's do this, let's do that. And it's just really nice to see that you've modeled that, and you've built that culture of, the new hustle, right? It's like, we're going to work from home. We're going to speak while we're, on the way to pick up kids. I'm going to be breastfeeding and jumping on a Zoom. Like, it's it's really, I think we need this right now. And you're really leading the way, and your team is leading the way by doing this. And I think for women everywhere, this is, when I say I look to you, I really do. I'm like, you just show what's possible. Like, I'm really high strung, or I will say I used to be. I'm still a little high strung, let's be honest. But I'm like, but like, for you to be like, yep, newborn baby. And it wasn't like Louis was your first newborn baby. You jumped on an airplane and were like going to go to an event and come back. Like, that's what you do to make it happen. And it's so good, because you become the example of like, hey, don't make it so hard. You want to do that thing, do that thing. Don't use this as a block. And so with your team, I see them, I saw them, I hung out with all of them, and they were just like till 1 a.m. We're just chatting. And I'm like, I love this. And it's an expression of what you've built in this new world, that we have to be flexible with this.
Yeah. I mean, that's beautiful. And thank you for saying it. I'm immensely proud of the team. And
they're amazing.
We'll always be. I mean, the beauty about what we've been able to create, my first ever employee at Business Chicks is still with me to this day, 16 years on. Liv, my CEO of the Australian business, worked with me in my first company. So we've been working together for 20 years. There's several people there who've done a decade worth of service. There's many people in the business who have been there for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. So, it's extraordinary. But I write about this in the book. It's like, we talk about this whole idea of having radical flexibility. And a lot of workplaces think that if they let their people go home at 4 o'clock or work from home 1 day a week, they're being radically flexible, and aren't they a fantastic employer? But really my experiences of flexibility have been born from my own challenges when it comes to parenting and wanting to stay as ambitious as I am, right? So a lot of the women that I mentioned to you just now, we grew up together. So we started working together in our early 20s, and my babies came along perhaps one of the first. I was one of the first to become a parent, and so as I faced my own challenges of how I was going to do this, I was really, really clear. I wanted to make sure that I learned those lessons so I could help the people behind me, right? So that's been really, really beautiful. So, and I think the team rewards you for that. When you show that you genuinely care and you genuinely want what's best for them. And it's not always a walk in the park. Like our whole team work really, really, really hard. They're grown-ups and they self-regulate, and they're an amazing bunch of people. And I'm very proud of them. I'm genuine when I say that.
They're the best. I love them all. They're so good. Like you want to hang out with them in real life. You're like, they're awesome.
That's one of my rules. Like I can teach anyone any skills and I can train for anything. But I don't drink beer, but I would want to have a beer with every single one of those people. I want to have a lychee martini or a Negroni, but gin and tonic, whatever. But I would do that with all of them. There's not one person there I think, I've got to go and have a gin and tonic with that person,
And I think that you really, I think when I say like you're the example, it's like being able to do that and stand for that. It's not easy, like you've had to do so many things and be flexible and chat and discuss and overcome things. But then it lets us, and I hear you talk about this a lot, like as women, whether we work in a corporate role and maybe it's not as flexible, or we run our own show, it's like, if we can see what's possible, and that's why all y'all that are listening to this right now need to stand in your power, right? Like we need to stand up, show up, take up space, because you become this light and this example for other people that get to do the same thing. And so I feel like just seeing you guys do that, we have 4 people, 1 full-time, and then everybody else is like a casual or part-time, but it's really helped us, especially reading the book. I was like, oh, wow, there's a lot of things like the right and the wrong work. I was like, oh, okay. Like age 29. Thank you very much. It's like, oh shit. Like, it just, because you don't know what you're doing. No one knows what the hell they're doing. We're winging it, right? Like this book 1, we're winging it. We're figuring it out. But being able to see that we can create this, and that it's being done, and you guys do it so loud and so proud, and sharing in this book, it really helped me with my team. Like I got everybody a copy in the thing, and I'm waiting for the audio book, which is coming soon. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's recorded. Yeah. Yes. Amazing. Okay. And it was just like, wow, this is possible. Like we don't have to do it their way or other people's ways. We can create kind of the way that works for our business, and all of us are mothers as well, which is crazy. So it becomes flexible, and we still get the job done, and it's not so, I don't know, so rigid,
Yeah. I mean, that's what, I start the whole book talking about that, because I think the old way of hustling really measures, how many hours you worked, how long you're at your desk for, how tired you looked, how many emails you wrote, how many meetings you had. I couldn't give a shit about any of that. Like all I care about is the output, right? Like I just want to know, is the work great? Is it fantastic? I don't care how you got to that, right? So for me, the nuances of the old hustle versus the new hustle, like the old way is definitely measuring input, and the new way is definitely measuring output. So it's actually really clear. And however someone gets to their workload, or however someone gets to the end of their projects, I could not care less. I have people who, take hairdressing appointments at 2:00 on a Thursday, or go to the doctors, and that's great. And so I'll often be WhatsApping someone, or we're on Teams, Teams them or Skyping them, and they're sitting there with foils in their hair and like, hey, Emma, and I'm like, hey, it's awesome. It's 11 a.m. on a Tuesday. But I don't care. Like, what do I care? They're awesome, and they'll always make it up. So it's all good.
Yeah. You're getting it done. Like it doesn't have to look a certain way. I love that you shared in the book, you said making soulful choices at every turn. So how can maybe someone who's listening to this and they're feeling really stuck in that hustle and survival mode, can you speak to that, like making soulful choices at every turn?
I think it's really, really hard when we get stuck, when we feel like we're in complete overwhelm, and we feel like there's no choice, and we feel like there's no other path than to continue on with the one that we're on, right? And I've been there many, many, many times. Many times I've thought, this cannot be any different. I've got to keep pushing, keep forcing. And what I've learned is that we do have choices, and we do have alternatives. And some of those might mean, rest. They might mean failure. They might mean completely giving up something in order to start afresh. And I think that should be the biggest learning of these, this last year and a half, that we do have choices, and that sometimes we feel completely powerless, and that sometimes we feel like we have nowhere to turn, but we ultimately all have places to turn and new places to explore. So, I can only speak from my lived experience of the times that I felt completely stuck and overwhelmed and like I had no power. And, there were many times I just kept on keeping on and had a brave face and just kept on going. But the newer me, the more relaxed, the more mature me is definitely learning to chill out and to take a deep breath and to rest a bit more and to go within instead of going out, because that's what we often do. We run around and ask for advice of every single person. Going, okay, I need to sit with this. What's going on? Where am I feeling the pain? Why am I feeling this pain? Why is it so hard? Where's the suffering? And really looking into that, and having a self-awareness and being able to have the courage to say, this ain't working. Like, this is not working. It's not working for me. It's not working for my family. It's not working for my people. And, it's really, really difficult to look into that. But I think when we are on this autopilot, when we are in this constant kind of hustle and the grind and the working so hard, there is no space. There is no space for daydreaming. There is no space to return to who we actually are and what our unique gifts are. That's my big word at the moment. Like, I'm just looking for space everywhere. It's just like, I want to feel bigger. I want to feel like I can breathe. I want to feel like I'm growing. And you cannot do that if you're on the treadmill of your life. Like, it's not possible.
Hey, this is a little intermission from me to you. I just really quickly wanted to invite you to pretty please head over to thequeenofconfidence.com/podcast. If you are enjoying this podcast, I would love for you to review it. Let me know what you think. I love honest opinions. It helps more women reach this podcast. So pretty please head over to thequeenofconfidence.com/podcast or go to Apple iTunes and leave me a beautiful little review. I would love and appreciate it. All right, sister, let's get back to the episode.
It's so funny. This brings up something we've been saying, my husband and I, because he's a meditation teacher and does breath work. And he's all about like your inner world, and we're talking to clients right now that are, drinking alcohol every night. They're suicidal. Like, it's unfortunate. So with the work that we do, mental health and just self-development, and, I think we can't control our external world. It's like, if we're out there trying to be, like fix all that or worry about all that, like we got to come into the internal world, and it's like, how are we, can we feel expanded internally? Can we feel free? Like, I'm in lockdown, but I feel free because I'm free right here in my mind. I'm like, okay, well, I can control this here, and not feel so, cause I think that when I was hustling last year, I felt really out of control. I felt like I needed to do and fix everything. And it's because I had no control, internally.
Yes,
It
absolutely.
was big. There are a few rules that slapped me across the face.
Good.
Yes. And a few that I'm like, yes, like I do that. I love that. And I think you always go to the ones you don't do because you're like, oh, I need that. And
right.
Yes, I want to get to rule number 48 because I feel like relax, and rule number 48, which is be patient, is like, oh, Erica, be patient. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Rule 75. I'm like, I'm just going to put them on my wall. I'm just going to cut out the little thing. And I
wrote it for you, babe. I wrote the whole
yeah. It's like, remember, E. But there's something that I think that our audience, about creating confidence, about standing in our power, the women that listen to this podcast, rule number 8, which is know when 80% is enough. And again, this is why I love you, because you're fucking real and raw, and you're just like, you don't got to be perfect. This shit is a mess. Like, you talk about things that didn't work, and you own it. And I love that. So tell me about that. Like, know when 80% is enough.
Yeah. So this one, I mean, the book, I saying before, I wrote about 200,000 words and we got them down to about 60,000 words.
I heard you say that. I was like, what?
Yeah. What remains is what I call 77 anti-rules, right? And the one you're alluding to there is know when 80% is good enough. And for me, I started off my career as being someone who was perhaps a little bit too much on the perfectionism scale of anal. I liked everything to be perfect, but I quickly realized that, there's a lot of time wasted when we try and tidy up things that don't need to be tidied up. So I tell a little story of a girl in my team who was a new girl to the team, and she asked me to help her with a pitch email. And I said, sure. I said, but here's the thing. I want you to write it in 5 minutes, and I want you to BCC me into your response to the client. And I don't want you to take any more time than that. So she freaked out. She went and wrote the email. She got it done, and 5 minutes later, the email hit my inbox. And, she called me afterward. I called her and said, that was amazing. Great. You did a great job. And she's like, I've never in my life been under that much pressure and thought that I could get something done in 5 minutes. I would have sat there for the next couple of hours perfecting this email. And I said, hey, Louise, we don't need to, 80% is good enough, getting across your point in a really efficient and time efficient way is the way to go here. So really it just means, we don't have to strive for perfectionism. Honestly, 80% is always mostly good enough, most always good enough. And I mean, I think if we could promise anyone 20% more time in their day, that would be a really welcome gift for anyone out there. So yeah, I mean, it's a rule I remind myself of all the time. And certainly given what I've taken on in my life with the businesses and the babies, I've just really relaxed into that whole idea of getting it done, getting it out, shipping the work, just putting it out there, and then moving on to the next thing, and not beating myself up that it wasn't perfect. It's out in the world. It's good. I could have done better. I can always do better, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to move on. So yeah, thanks for noticing that one.
Yeah, I think the analysis paralysis is such a big thing. And throughout the book, I love, the 77 anti-rules, because it's and I remember it so much more because it's a rule than a subheading. So I'm
right. Okay, there you go.
Sister. Hey, yeah. That's a cool commandment number 48. No, because it's this is a good thing to think about. This is a good, and I think when you're reading this, and obviously the book is in the show notes, so definitely go and grab it. But when you're reading this, I feel like I'm moving to the things where my subconscious knows I need to work on, and it's and it just finds it. And there's some really incredible, hilarious, always, stories in this book. But I love that it's anti-rules, because it's these are the things that we can start to work with. These are the actual tools and tangibles on how to create, not my new hustle, but your new hustle. How is your hustle going to look? And something that you've always been big about, and you say in the book, is be true to yourself and not water yourself down to make others comfortable. And, and it kind of goes with this, owning who you are and making the mistakes and 80% and getting back up and falling down. And I heard you in another podcast, you talked about how you got to where you are is you fell down a bunch of times and you just got your ass back up and just tried something new. And that's how you found it. Can you speak to that? Because I think so many of us are paralyzed by perfection, and also giving a fuck what people think about us really stops us.
Yeah, no, 100%. They're beautiful themes to really think about. I mean, I think when you can attach your life to a really big kind of purpose or a really big vision for yourself, or a really big mission, call that whatever you will, right? The small stuff does start to kind of fade away. It's like the inner work that we're talking about then. It's when you're in your small brain or your small mind and you're worrying about what am I wearing today? What do I look like? What are the people thinking of me? What am I saying? What did they like me do? Am I doing a good enough job? That's small brain, it's small mind, it's small mindedness, right? But when you can kind of go, I don't give a shit about any of those things anymore. Let's just look at this blank canvas of life we have in front of us. What do we want to create? How can I show up and create more of what I want? And you start to employ this big mind or this big brain thinking, all that other peripheral stuff that really constricts us and that really racks us with fear and makes us feel so small and so, I can't even breathe when I'm thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
So the more you can kind of train yourself to understand that stuff will not matter in 10 years' time. And the person who is throwing you shade right now or judging you or minimizing you in some way will not be a force for you in your life in 10 years' time. When you can get really clear on that, and when you can step back and just be with yourself and who you want to be, then honestly, this whole world does open up. It's not to say that you're not going to fuck up and fail a ton of times, as I do all the time. Not to say you're going to not step into your greatness all the time and you're going to leave spaces and leave meetings and leave opportunities without having said what you really thought or really wanted. All that stuff happens, again and again until you learn those lessons. But I just feel that, the more you can come back into what is unique to you, the more you can come back into your stillness and your big kind of mind or big brain thinking. It's that stuff. It does somehow find its way, in back of you. Like it you leave it somewhere. And this is not stuff that I was ever taught, or it's not stuff that I grew up with. It's certainly come from studying the people that I've been able to spend time with and trying to role model people who I look up to, and really through self-education and trying to be curious at all times and always be educating myself and just watching people and watching how they hold themselves. And that's been a big study for me. But I don't know. I see perhaps a bit more of it in Australia than I do elsewhere. This kind of obsession with what everyone else is up to, and I talked about in Winging It, like the compare and despair thing. It's it can be really crippling, and it actually just holds you back from your own expansion. It's what I'm interested in. Yeah,
exactly. And I think you've worked with some amazing people, and some beautiful, gorgeous people have left you amazing words and endorsements about the book. Elizabeth Gilbert, Richard Branson, Kate Hudson, Lisa Wilkinson, all the amazing peeps. What do you see when you look out to the people who mentor you, or the people who have been impactful in your life for changing you and helping you, how their new hustle has become? Have you seen that with your mentors and friends that are doing this kind of work?
Yeah, so much. I mean, those people that you just mentioned there, I look up to them and have kind of a front row seat and a unique viewpoint on what they get up to in their lives. And, I never want to sort of reveal secrets or say things that are, kind of sacred to me and the other person. But, I look up to these people tremendously, and I'm lucky that, I have built friendships with them. And, throughout the pandemic, I'm still in touch with the beautiful Liz Gilbert, and she's just a hoot, and she's everything that you think she is. And I love how, she went away she's got a home in New Jersey, and she locked herself up there for the winter. And she's like, I don't want to be a burden on anyone else. I'm just going to stay here and ride this thing out. And she's writing, and she'll have her social media hiatus. And, so I look up to that, and I think that's great. She's just so in her own power and living her life the way she wants to live, right? And then, I mean, you mentioned Branson, and he's a whole universe unto himself. And, I
literally he's in space.
Well, right. Yeah. And, it's beautiful. Even I sent him a message when, he was in New Mexico to take that trip. And, it's just a message of like, so excited for you. You've waited for this day for so long. Love you. Go, oh my gosh, just proud thinking of you, whatever. And, he didn't write back that day, but, like a few days later he wrote back, and he was like, I never thought I'd say wow in space, but it's all I could think of. And,
wow.
So like that's inspiring to me, that he is still, the idea of going to space and getting a commercial space business off the ground is perhaps something that you and I think like we could never do that. But for him, he's like, oh, it's totally possible and it's so fine. But I don't know. I just think with him, what I look up to, if for Liz, it's like she just does whatever the F she wants to do. Like, I just love that about her, right? Like, no, she couldn't care less what you think, what I think. She could not, she zero fucks about that, right? But for him, what inspires me there is just his, he's got this sort of childishness or childlikeness, and he is truly as astounded by his achievements as we are. Like, it's like, he's like, what? I just went to space. So yeah, I mean, these people are deeply inspiring to me, and it's a real blessing to learn from them all the time. And I'm so much better for it, as we all are. It's like it's great to have those North Stars in the form of people that you can look to. And I don't know how you felt, but like when Richard went to space, I was like, oh man, like I'm such a loser. Like what am I just for a minute I was like, oh man.
Like troubleshooting those problems. It's good though, because it literally made me feel tiny, like in the perspective that I was. It's like, wow, he is. I love that. I want you to know that you're that for so many people, and it's easy to look at someone else and think that and be like, me, wow. But like, you really are, because, he is an example of freedom. And I know what you said about the childlikeness, and he just does what he does. And I know in my community, I'm like energy. I'm like, hey, good morning. What's up? And everyone's like, what are you on? And I'm like, I'm fucking excited to have air in my lungs. Like, I'm just, I'm grateful, you know? Yeah. It's like, brilliant. You know, I get to create. You're a creator. We're creators. And we can create for the new problem. We can create for the new world that we're going to be living in. And I think I heard you speak before about the shock, and like we're in such shock around the world at the same time. It's like global shock, right?
Yeah, it's like freeze mode. Yeah,
I know. And it's like when you're in shock and the anger and the sadness, and it's like we're mourning. I found myself like I'm good today, and then I'm like, and then I'm like, okay, now I just had a cry. Yeah, like I'm like a little roller coaster right now, but it's that mourning, you know, and I think we can't get stuck there. And it's beautiful to be able to look to other people and mentors that are doing something that maybe gives you some hope and some light. And you're like, oh, let me get out of my bubble of mourning for now, you know, because there's going to be good stuff coming. So
there is. We got to believe that. We got to believe that.
Sure. So tell me about this. Be patient, because I know it's rule number 48. I'm super patient, but I think my listeners want to know. No, we're high achievers. We love to go for the things. We love to do the impossible. You know, I don't know about you. I would love to know, actually. I don't do anything for my kids. Like I hear moms go, I'm going to do this for my kids. And I'm like, oh, am I a bad mom? Because I don't do anything for my kids. It's like, I'm doing this for me.
What do you mean? Like, what's an example?
Like, you know, that they're like, I want to be successful and make money and like change the world for my kids. And then I'm like, or like, I don't know, like even birthing, like connect with your baby. I'm like, forget about my baby. I'm in pain about my damn self. That's my badge right now. I'm like, you know, I'm like, the minute was like connect to the baby. Like, I'm not connected to that damn baby. Baby's not here yet. I don't want to feel his head. No, like I'm trying to stay in my body, girl.
Listen to your baby, talk to your baby.
Do you want to see? I'm like, no, I'm trying to stay with myself. Me against me right now, girl. It's a mind game. Oh my God.
That's too good.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't want to make money for my kids or achieve for them so that they can see me. And I don't know, like it feels just like I'm self-driven and I want to do this because I want to do this for my life and for the people. Do you feel like that? Or do you ever think like, you know, am I explaining that right?
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's great. I think a lot of my self-drive does come from a place. There's a couple of things. So like there's an inner child who needs to get things, you know, needs to be the best, right? I'm the eldest child. I'm the first. I was always independent. I was always the sort of achiever, right? So there's a bit of my inner child who wants to compete and be great and be first and be the best, great. And then my more mature self is honestly really excited to be my best for other people, not to show other people, but in what we've spoken about before. It's like, if Richard can show us that going to space is possible and Liz can show us that writing however many New York Times bestsellers is possible, like what can I do? Like, is having 6 home births a role, like can that be a role model for someone else like Erica? Like I don't know. So I do honestly love to achieve and feel driven to do these things because I want to be that for other people. And the beautiful byproduct is that hopefully my kids will notice and go, oh wow, okay, cool, maybe mom is really awesome. I mean, I was playing cards with my eldest last night and she was like, do you think you're cool, mom? And I'm like, I mean, and then she's like, yeah, you're not. And I'm like, okay.
Does she have an American accent?
They all do, babe.
Oh my God. Really? How is that? How crazy is that?
It's crazy. It's hilarious. And even she's now 4, but you know, she went to school when she was 3. Well, it's not school, it's like daycare, whatever, but she was 5 times a week, which is what we do over here. But even, you know, up until then, she was at home with me and my husband. And so I was like, why does she have an American accent? We don't watch TV. Like it's just this weird thing. But yeah, they're all like, Mom, where's my sweater? And
oh my God, I love it.
Mom, like it's in the closet. And Mom, like,
take out the trash.
Take out all the trash, take the trash out and put in the trunk. And it's great. It's actually funny though, because when I moved to America 6 years ago, we had a beautiful Australian family that kind of showed us the way, and we were like, what do we do here? What do we do there? And they'd been here for 6 years before we arrived, and their girls, they had two girls, both had American accents. And I remember watching the interaction between the Australian mum and the like Americanized daughters, thinking, this is wild. Like, you're Aussie and your daughter is American, and this is wild. And now it's like, that's the Issacs household. It's it's funny.
It's so crazy. I know we have, like, my son's like, water, and I'm like, water. Water. And he's like, water. And he's like, no, mommy, water. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so like Puerto Rican, Australian, Sri Lankan, American babies. Like, what is going on? Oh, that's so good. Well, I'm happy that I got to see you on International Women's Day. What a day.
Yes.
See you and Louie and your mom. Your mom's amazing. Like,
I know, isn't she?
She's really amazing.
Yeah, she's really something. She has been a very, very calming force in my life. And, you know, we talk about the patience thing. She was born with that, and she has, you know, tried to drum that into me and failed miserably. But yeah, she's very special. She's a very, very special woman. She's awesome.
She was so beautiful.
She had her birthday yesterday. She turned 65. And,
wow. Happy birthday, Mama.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, she's beautiful, beautiful. Oh my gosh. And you're a Cancerian, I heard.
I am.
I love you. My husband's a Cancerian.
What's his birthday?
July 9th.
Yeah, right. So I'm July 3. Yeah, I'm typical Cancerian. I'm very much a homebody. I'm very much introverted. I love my home. I love my family. I would rather be on the couch with a book than at a glamorous party. You know, so I'm very quintessential Cancerian, I believe. What are you?
I'm a Gemini, so we're psychos. My poor husband. I know. We're like, crazy. I'm a Gemini. My mom's a Gemini. My son is a Gemini. My operations lady is a Gemini. My husband doesn't stand a chance. I know. It's just,
crazy.
But it's fun. It's fun. Okay. Last little rule that I love that I think will be really beneficial for the listeners and for anyone listening to this who wants to put themselves out there, whether it's build a business, whether it's, get a pay rise and growing the company that you're in. You talk about rule number 30, and it's own your mistakes. And, I think, God, there's so many rules, and this book is amazing, and I could read them all out, but I want you, the listener, to go and get this book. Audiobook drops in end of August, you said, possibly? Yeah. Okay, cool. I've already pre-ordered the audiobook as well, because I'm excited about that. But talk about this, because I think that we have a big fear, again, kind of goes back to that being worried, rule 69, drown out the voice of others. And, I think this really paralyzes us. I feel like women more than men in the work that I do, I see it a lot. So, what can you say to this about owning your mistakes and how important this is?
Yeah, what I'll say is this. I mean, I've been very lucky to work with, hundreds of people in my own companies and outside of my own company. And the people that I'm drawn to and the people who tend to, get ahead and be more successful, I have found that those who are very open and vulnerable, right? So I've always struggled to work with people where I can't really read what's going on and I'm not sure what has transpired and what has happened, right? So, I mean, we all know what own your mistakes means, right? It means showing up, means being honest, but more importantly, means being vulnerable and saying, hey, I don't have the answer to that question. Hey, I effed up. I'm sorry. That was me. And I just see this happening, and I see it more and more, perhaps with millennial, the millennial generation, because there's a bit of that feeling of I have to appear as if I have all the answers, and I have to appear that I've got it all together. So for me, own your mistakes means in any sort of situation where you are, you must put up your hand and say I screwed that up and sorry, that was me, and do it really, really, really quickly, right? And I'm very blessed to work with people who do that all the time. I hope that that's been some of my wisdom rubbing off on them. I can never be sure, but I'm always the one to go, we'll be in an all hands meeting, a team meeting, right? And someone will be like, I sent it to Em and I'm waiting on her approval, and I'll be like, oh shit, yep, sorry. I know you emailed me last time. Sorry guys, sorry, that was me. Sorry, yep, I'll do it, by the end of the day, whatever. But, I'll never be like, oh no, I never got the email, or, no, like, it's just like, you just admit it. Just, you own your mistakes. You and it happens all the time in my business because people are always chasing me for things and I'm always not responding. And it's like, so I have just learned like the fastest and best way to kind of, melt away that situation, to go, oh shit, yep, sorry, that was me. Haven't done it. We'll do it. I'm on it. And it's just, I think it's a really beautiful lesson for us all to carry through in both our homes and, to teach our children and in our workplaces.
100%, that like responsibility. And I love Wayne Dyer because he says your ability to respond is like responsibility. And it's like, oh my gosh, yes, because then we can shift, we can change it, we can work with it, we can model that for our kids and our teams. And you do that so well. So it's really beautiful. I know we're coming to the end of this, but I know that you say in winging it, and I love this part because I was like, I also hate writing books. So I've only written one book and it was like, stab myself in the eye. I was like, what? I have to do this again? So it sucks writing. I love to talk. Are you a talker more or what? Tell me about this. It's hard.
Yeah, no, I'm not good at talking. I like silence, and I'd rather not talk. I'm a good listener. I like to listen. I mean, it's true. I like you said, I find the book writing process really torturous, and it's not a fun. People are like, oh, like wow. I'm like, don't kid yourself that it's going to be fun. Don't kid yourself. It's going to be easy. I really struggle. I really apply myself to the process, and I really do try my best. But I'm not a person who is great at kind of sitting still for hours on end. And, I've been saying this everywhere I go, like I write every single word in my books myself. I don't have ghostwriters or any other influencers, but I work with a great structural editor who helps me hone my ideas and craft themes, and that's been really useful for me. But, I derive no joy and no pleasure from book writing. It's not something, it's a really, really full-on process. And it also it's actually quite a vulnerable process to put yourself out there. And, you know that. So that I'm okay with, but the actual process and this book took me really a good 3 years to write. And I wrote it a couple of times, 3 times. And, what I put out to my publishers in the first instance didn't feel right given all the transformation and change we're going through. So I'm really proud of where it landed. I think, and I hope it's going to be useful for a lot of people. And listen, I'm going to do it again and again and again. I'm just not going to enjoy it.
But it's getting the work out there, right? It's getting it out around the world, which is so freaking incredible. Winging It killed it. I ordered the new Winging It, which is like the American one that's hardcover and color and it's so pretty. I love pink. My whole office is pink.
I know, it's so good.
Like the whole 4 walls are pink.
But just one feature wall.
It's like that pink. Oh, I can't show you because I have this camera. There's like bright pink, dark pink. It's crazy. But I love that it's beautiful. I love how big your books are as well, because I'm a lady who never read. Like I didn't do well in school. I grew up in the hood. I was like, I'm not a reader. I'm going to listen to audiobooks. But you always make really big, beautiful, big text books. And thank you, because it's easy. It's like, okay, I can do this. I can read this.
Yeah. I mean, it's meant to be a really fast-paced read. It's meant to, be hopefully uplifting and inspiring and practical at the same time. So thank you for saying that. It's really,
when your publishers, like even your publishers, like I had this on my bedside table and I've looked at this and I'm reading and I'm back into it. And, in our team, we're going through some of these rules together, like in our meetings is like, okay, so how do we implement this? How do we do this? How do we not, for me as a fast person like you, I'm like, I'll just do it. It'll be faster if I just do it. And it's like, girl, you don't need to do that. You need to give it to somebody else and trust them that they will do it and give good directions, which I can sometimes suck at.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So this has been a little Bible for us at TQOC. So thank you so much. Okay. So lastly, we'll end with this, if that's okay. What do you do to build your self-confidence? What do you think is one of the best and biggest things that we can do as women to build our self-confidence? Because I think we're taking a hit right now. But
of course we are. Of course. I think my biggest learning when it comes to building self-confidence, and I certainly have not always been the most confident person in the room. Like I look at you and I think, gosh, how does she do it? Like, how does she wear all those sequins and show up the way she does? It's amazing. But my brand of building self-confidence has really been about practicing, and it's really been about putting myself into situations where I felt I wasn't capable of doing something. So really that whole thing of, saying yes and freaking out and then just going on and doing it anyway, that's been the way I've been able to build confidence and, ultimately back myself. And, once you practice that over and over and over, and it sort of becomes second nature, it's, the muscle is built, it's there for you. So it does become easier every single time. But that's my brand. It's just doing things that scare me and practicing doing that over and over.
Oh, I love it. You're the best. I love you. Thank you for existing. Honestly. You're awesome. I want to give you all the love and say thank you. Honestly, like you've been this big sister there for a long, long time. And you're so kind and so loving, and you talk to everyone. And I read in the book about you moving chairs and someone seeing you, and that's you, that's who you are. And you've always been that behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. I haven't seen you much behind the scenes, but when I see you, I'm just like, man, I see you, I can feel you, and you're just incredible. So thank you so much for the work you do. Thank you for this book and this Bible for us. She's beautiful. And I know that we got to see her before you did.
I know. Popping up everywhere. And I'm like, I haven't even seen this damn book yet.
Yeah. See,
great.
That's good. That's your non-high strongness. I'm like,
it's awesome. It's awesome. I could care less, but it's exciting, and I so appreciate you and everything you give to the world and to us, and thank you for your making this happen. And again, I'm sorry that it wasn't in person, but I promise you the biggest hug we can, and I can't wait till that day.
Yay! Thank you, Em. You're the bomb. Love you.
My business sister. What's good? Listen, I'm talking to you if you run a business, if you want to grow a business, if you are running a business and you want to scale that thing and you want to grow it. Listen, I have created our business from $0, literally scrounging for coins so that we could buy bread for our family. And within 3 years, we've made over $1 million in our business, have a global program, and we're making an impact around the world. And I do what I love, okay? I do not work a day in my life. I love what I do. If you are wanting to grow or scale your business, I have a free masterclass that I recorded, a video. I have to say myself, that shit is fire. It is fire, and it is called Why You're Not Making Money in Your Business. So be sure to head over to thequeenofconfidence.com/biz mentoring, or click into the show notes of this podcast episode. It is such an amazing masterclass. I gave everything I had. I gave actual things, tips, tricks, tangible actions, steps that you can take, and important things that you need to know if you want to grow and scale a business to success with integrity, with authenticity. That is important, right? Like, we need to be growing and making businesses that feel good, where we're doing good work, and it's not just about the money. There's nothing wrong with money. Don't get me wrong. We love money, but you need to be making your impact and doing something that feels good to you. I don't believe that we should hate our jobs just to get money. No way. You can leave an impact on the world. You can create money and wealth in your business, abundance and impact. And what I like to say is more money, more impact. The more money you can create as a woman, the more impact that you can have on this planet. And let me tell you, do we need the impact? So head to thequeenofconfidence.com, click on Biz Mentoring. There's a free masterclass there, or click into the show notes here on the podcast. Get it while it's hot. It is such a great masterclass. I hope that you love it, and I hope that it helps you grow and scale your business.